star-studded MLB doubleheader for you. First, Aaron Judge leading the Yankees against Mookie Betts and the Red Sox. Then you got Mike Trout and the Angels taking on Francisco Lindor and the Indians. It all starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Still can't get over watching baseball at 9:30 in the morning. Back here with Coach Mangini. You lived over there. Without Zeke at training camp, all eyes are on his quarterback. No, they are. I'm not. Dak Prescott. Dak has high hopes in this, his fourth season. Talks about improving after last season's playoff run. Take a listen.
Each and every year you have confidence. You say this is the year. You say we've got a great team. But you look around this team we have, this roster that we have, the talent, the leaders that we have. It's to win, and it's to win everything. And we've got the people to do it, so it's got to just come in and stay focused and make sure that we're holding each other to those expectations.
The intangibles that he has as a leader, as a guy, I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. Everybody respects him. They want to play for him. They listen to him. They believe in him. And then as a player, you know, his confidence in this system and all the little things that he's working on to improve his game, you know, I expect an incredible year for him. He is the leader of this football team.
Coach, we don't often tell you how much of an influence you've had on our show, but there is a concept that you introduced last year that we talk about all the time across multiple sports, and it's the concept of a force multiplier, about someone who makes everyone else around them better. When you look at a quarterback like Dak Prescott and what the Cowboys have, is he a force multiplier for that team?
He's a little bit of a split force multiplier. When you hear Jason Witten talk, and he talks about his intangibles, I believe that, and I've got a lot of people that I know in Dallas who talk about what a good guy is, his work ethic, the poise that he has, the presence that he has in the huddle, all of those things that you look for from a quarterback, and that to me is a force multiplying effect. But his play, his actual play, I struggle with, because when you have to bring in a guy like Amari Cooper and say, okay, now he's got a weapon that he can
or even as a way to see if he's a great player.
Right, to see how well he can do. And then you've got Ezekiel Elliott and his role and what it was like when he wasn't there and whether or not Dak could carry the team. You just didn't see it. And we just did a segment on Tom Brady and the Patriots, and we never questioned that. So they lose their left tackle. They don't have any wide receivers of significance that on the outside right now. But we all look at it as, okay, Tom will take care of it. But we can't talk about Dak that way, and to me, it's a split deal.
Well, and Chris, you say all the time, and you're right, that right now, this moment, it's the NFL's the deepest it's ever been at talent at the quarterback position, because guys are playing longer than we'd ever seen in the past. So guys like Brady and Breeze are still at the top of their game. You have Rivers and Big Ben, who are still playing at a Pro Bowl level. And we've also had now a number of draft classes come in of guys who are either in the heart of their prime, like Andrew Luck, Russell Wilson, or young guys who are getting to starting to approach their prime.
Mahomes in that crew.
Mahomes, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, if you like him, Baker, I think, is going to be in that group. And that's where Dak's in such a tough spot. There was not that long ago era where Dak, this level of player, would have been in the discussion as a top 10 quarterback in football. But no chance right now. There's no argument to be made. It's hard to fit Matt Ryan, who's won a league MVP, in that top 10. Cam Newton won a league MVP, and nobody, hardly outside of Carolina, has him in that top 10. And so for Dak, when he has had, for the vast majority of his career, the ideal situation, aside from the receivers. He's had a great offensive line in front of him, even if it didn't play up to its standard last year. And the guy that we've said is maybe the best running back in the NFL behind him for the entirety of his career, except for the 6-game suspension. When you've had that setup, and at the very least a good, and last year a very good defense, and we're still questioning, but can he make the big throws? Can he turn 3s into 7s in the red zone? That is an indictment on him. Now, the Cowboys, because of his availability and his leadership that you're talking about, they're going to pay him like they know he's a force multiplier. But once they do that, then they are not going to be able to have as much talent around him because it's a hard cap sport. And then he is going to have to show that he is the best version of himself because pretty soon he's going to be on a team without as much talent, because when we talk about that pie, instead of eating up a tiny sliver, he's going to eat up the biggest chunk of anyone on the team.
Dak Prescott cannot carry the Dallas Cowboys to a Super Bowl. But there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that can't carry their team to the Super Bowl. Now, a lot of those guys aren't playing in a city that's going to generate the type of optics. They're not going to be on TV shows like this because they're not on teams like the Cowboys. So can Dak handle that pressure? Dan Marino taught me this. He said, Chris, if they take away my running game, what am I going to do? He said, I'm going to pick a guy, let it fly. Super Bowl, we ain't going unless Dan Marino is throwing. And Dak, that's not the case. We got 3 years of NFL defenses saying what they think of the Dallas Cowboys. Forget what Chris says. What do the defenses say? How many guys at the line of scrimmage? 7. That means they're trying to stop someone who's in the box. And if the quarterback, if they're not blitzing them, it's about stopping a running back. So when I watch the Dallas Cowboys, every team that they say, every team they play says, we must stop Ezekiel on that offensive line from taking over the game when the defense plays less than 30 minutes, which has to do with those linemen and that running back. They were undefeated last year. So, no, the NFL thinks it. Right now, the first game of the season, I can guarantee what they're going to do. That's why they got to get Zeke signed. That's why they got to get Zeke there, because Dak is not that guy. And it's not like you can't have a long career. You can't be successful. You can't win a Super Bowl. But how you're going to have to do it, look at the Rams. If they had a quarterback that was a force multiplier, he could have won that Super Bowl. It was waiting for him to make a play. But could he? No, with Todd Gurley being hurt. Dak and him are in the same classification. And right now, Jared Goff is a lot better thrower of the football than Dak. It's pretty simple. He is not a great thrower of the football. And I said this about a quarterback before, and someone got mad about me. If throwing the football is important, which it is right now, the all-time high in the league, Dak Prescott is going to be in the middle of the pack because that's where he is as a thrower.
And to Chris's point, he's not a great runner of the football either. And there's a lot of quarterbacks that can make huge plays with their feet.
We give Dak that courtesy, he's an African-American, he got to be a good athlete. It's like playing pickup basketball. You got to be careful with them guys sitting on the sideline. Be careful who you pick. Right? There's some not good athletes or African-Americans over there. We just grant him that.
Yeah, and we talk about some other guys who just make incredible plays with their feet or can extend the play, which allows guys to get open if the initial play is not there. And he's not really that guy either. He's not really a read option guy. Now, he does do a good job of protecting the football and managing the game, and there's real value in that. And the character, there's real value in that. But in terms of a force multiplier, I always try to think, if I took that player and put him on another team, what kind of impact would he have? And I imagine if we took Tom Brady and put him on the Cowboys, he'd have a pretty significant impact. And there's a lot of quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger on the Cowboys would have a significant impact. You know, Aaron Rodgers, even Patrick Mahomes, I think, could have a more significant impact. And if you put Dak in those situations, how good would he be? So that's the equation that I look at, and I just don't see it from him right now.
We keep talking about Ben Simmons and his lack of a jump shot, and we just want him to get in there and practice and shoot 10,000 jump shots and he'll get better. Can the same thing be applied to football? If he's not a good thrower of the football, if he's not a good runner, are those two qualities, are those two fundamentals that he could actually get better at?
Well, I shouldn't say obviously. I mean, I think he is getting better. And it is his job and the coaching staff's job for him to continue. He's still a young player. He's played 3 years in this league, to continue to progress. But that raw talent is, I think, what Chris is talking about, which is even if he gets to his best case scenario, he's never going to be an elite thrower of the football. He's never going to have elite arm strength.
No, there was a reason why he was drafted in the 3rd round. It wasn't an excuse. It wasn't height. It wasn't speed. It wasn't lack of playing. It wasn't lack of, we haven't seen him. It wasn't injury. No, that's his talent level. Russell Wilson, they missed on him, and it was a height thing. If Russell Wilson was 6'1", he would have been a 1st-round pick because he has the arm talent. He has all those other things. At a certain point, you run out of talent. You are in the talent business, and you run out. We have more talented throwers. We have a window where our veteran quarterbacks are staying playing, and then now we have all these young throwers. Guys aren't coming out of college with the read option. They are sticking the football. They are running option routes. They're running sophisticated offenses at a younger age, and that's why we've seen these younger generation have instant success at the highest level.
But I do think that he can maximize his ability because of his intangibles. And I think he'll continue to improve because of his work ethic. It's just how high is that ceiling? He'll reach it, but just how high is it?
To me, he reminds me of a player like Phil Simms. Can you win a championship? Yes. But you're going to have to do it the right way. You're going to have a beastly defense. You're going to have some type of running game in the big games. Can he develop where he's a consistent thrower? I do believe that. He can win one Super Bowl. But in this era, can he win multiple Super Bowls with Dallas? That might be pushing it.
All right. Coach, thanks so much for hanging today.
Great to see you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Maybe.
Awesome. Coming up, will we see vintage Todd Gurley this season? That's next on First Things First.
We'll see vintage Coach tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wear that Cleveland Browns orange tie.
Yeah.